Hi, I am Christina Yonkman, and I'm going to share my Module 1 recording, Government Control of Public Education. A little bit about myself. I was raised on a farm in Nest City, Kansas with my parents, and I have an older sister and a younger brother. After high school, I chose to go to Barton County Community College in Great Bend for 2 years, and then I transferred to Fort Hays State University where I received my master's in human ecology, and I could use it for a family and consumer science teacher. I also received my master's at Fort Hays State University, and I received my ESL endorsement. I currently live in Garden City, Kansas, in Southwest Kansas, with my 3 children. And the picture of them here, my middle son is the oldest. Skylar is 27. On the left is Connor. He's 25. And then on the right is Kelton, and he is 15. And then we have our rescue schnauzer, Smokey. I currently am serving as the school counselor at the Garden City Achieve Alternative Center in Garden City for USD 457. This is my 29th year in education. 12 years of that was spent as a FACS teacher. I also spent a year being a reading interventions teacher, and I worked with ELL students. I have 12 years of counseling. 8 years of that was at Garden City High School, which is a 6A school, and I had over 300 students every year on my caseload. And in the last 4 years, I have been at the Garden City Achieve Center, which is our alternative. And our building is very unique in the fact that we have 4 different entities within it. We have our 9 through 12 high school. We have our therapeutic education program, and those are students that are receiving mental health services, and so we work with Compass Behavioral Health in our building. We also have the day school, and that is where we have students that need a one-on-one para and more individualized attention. And then we have our virtual learning academy for 7 through 12 and adults that are wanting to work on their diploma. And I am the counselor over that whole building. So we're going to talk about who oversees the public schools. There are 3 levels of government. There is the federal level, and this is where they provide support for schools and guarantee K through 12 students a free quality education. They fund at roughly 10% of our operating costs. They can provide additional funding to districts if the federal standards are met. They help collect data and research. They look at concerns on the national level. They help enforce discrimination laws. They evaluate performance of the school districts. They help suggest policy change, and they also measure outcomes of school districts. Within our state level, they are accountable for overseeing our local school districts by passing laws and governing school practices. They fund a little less than half of our operating costs. The State Department is where they set standards for our assessments and our curriculum, and they work closely with the school districts on the curriculum. They oversee the special services for students with disabilities. They license all of our schools, including the private, public, and charter schools. This is also the department where teachers and staff work on becoming licensed and making sure that we have qualified teachers. They elect and appoint local and state board members, and they evaluate school performance through our state assessments. Our local government is responsible for the accountability and operations of the school. They fund the other half of our operating costs by adopting a budget and allocating our resources. They oversee and develop school policies. They employ district superintendent, who they work very closely with. They oversee and adopt district curriculum. And most local boards also work with a curriculum committee within the district. They accept collective bargaining agreements for the staff, and they help set policies and guidelines for hiring the staff. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our USD 457 mission and vision. The mission is quality learning, responsible citizens, and our vision is improving student outcomes as a model district. And we have 5 model beliefs, and I want to talk about one just each briefly. First of all, we have culture, and this is where we set our high expectations for students, and that every decision made is based in the best interest of the student. Our instruction, this is where critical thinking, problem solving, and the higher order thinking takes place, and we want to prepare students for a career, learning trade, or attending college. Involvement, this is where we work with students, parents, teachers, support staff, administrators, and the community to provide high quality education experiences for our students. Results orientation, success is measured through the growth and ongoing improvement, and we use data to make instructional decisions. And then the systemic approach is the organization develops and fosters a shared vision so that we are all looking in one direction, and we have effective communication, and the decision-making process is clearly defined and understood on every decision that is made. Our board is made up of 7 board members, and they work closely with our superintendent. Our board also has a 5-year strategic plan, and the purpose of this plan is to continuously improve as a district and address the needs of all students. And so there are 3 board initiatives that our board works with. The first one is student growth and achievement, and this is where we ensure that all students have the support that they need to be college and career ready when they graduate. We also have the school, family, and community engagement. And this is where we continue to develop and collaborate with our community and our families and all the stakeholders there. We also want to improve communication with our families and community. The third is the safety, infrastructure, and efficiency. And this is where we want to provide safe, secure, and well-maintained learning environments so that all students can learn. USD 457, like I said, is a very large district. It's the second largest employer in Finney County. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how it is managed. Our superintendent reports to our Board of Education, and he is responsible for managing all the schools using board policy and ensuring that everything is run effectively. Under him, we have a deputy superintendent and an assistant superintendent. And then underneath each of those assistant and deputy are directors and coordinators. And so I'm just going to go real quickly through our deputy superintendent. Under them, we have our director of special education, our coordinator of federal programs, our coordinator of health services, and all of our K through 12 principals. Then the assistant superintendent works with the director of human resources, director of plant facilities, director of nutrition services, director of transportation, director of technology, the coordinator of curriculum and instruction, the coordinator of our career and technical education, which is the CTE funding, and the coordinator of professional development. We also have a coordinator of human services. And so as you can see, we have a lot of I call them moving parts within our operation systems, but everyone is very important to make sure that our large district is run smoothly. Communication. The coordinator of public information and safety in our district is who helps keep staff, students, parents, and the community informed about anything that happens with the function and operation of the school. And so anytime as a staff member we have something that needs to go out, that is ran through the coordinator of public information and safety. That involves any type of newsletters, social media, emails, any type of communication that we want to go out will come directly from him. Our Board of Education meetings are open to the public. They are broadcast and taped for people to go back and view. Our board works with our Garden City Telegram, which is our local newspaper. They use social media. They post a lot on Facebook, Twitter. They send out district newsletters, and we have a lot of buildings and departments that also send out individual newsletters. And our district is unique in, the last I had heard, we had 21 different languages in our high school, and so we offer a variety of translating services. We have a special phone system that allows us to call into translating services, but we also have several employees that specifically do translating to help us communicate with our families. And then during the COVID and working online at home, our district developed the Remind app. That is our main communication tool to get information out to families in the community. Technology. We all know that without technology, we can't operate daily. And so we have a director of technology and their department, and they provide any assistance to staff, students, and even our families. We have a technology steering committee for long range planning, and they give assessments and surveys to all the important stakeholders. They'll involve the technology department. They will include building staff. They'll include parents, students, and other possible community members as needed. We have a lot of departments as far as our equitable school resources to make sure and ensure that all of our students are receiving the education that they need. We have site councils that meet regularly, and those include building and community people. It also includes families on that. We have staff and curriculum development council where they will work on the curriculum and making sure that our curriculum is appropriate and updated as needed. We have our special education services for any students that are on IEPs. We have our 504 coordinator that we work with students with special needs on a 504. We have our student assistance teams within each building where we write ILPs for students. We also have Title I, migrant, and ESOL services within our district. It is really important that each adult and student in our district feels important and heard. And so we do have several different areas that help with this. Our district has an advisory committee where they meet and hear needs of individuals. We have our own school attorney, and anytime there is a decision that needs to be made or a change in policy, that is ran through our school attorney. Our board can hire consultants or work with consultants that offer free services. And we also have an employee and a student handbook, and we have the negotiated agreement. So my personal levels, as far as how I've worked with these three different levels, of course, the majority of my experience is going to be at the local level. I've had a variety between being in the classroom and working as a building counselor. I'm also the lead teacher currently, and I was a department leader at the high school for the counseling department. And so I was a member and currently am a member of the building leadership team. I served on our site council where we worked with the community and families on issues for the district. As I mentioned, I was the department leader and lead teacher. I serve and have served on the SAT team. I've been on the curriculum committee and helping develop curriculum not only in the family and consumer science area, but in the counseling area. And then I've served on several hiring search committees. And so all of these are working not necessarily directly with our local board, but we report those to the board. Within the state level, we worked last year really hard on our 5-year and our KISA plan, and I was a big part of that in our building. I have been the assessment coordinator and have worked directly with students and staff providing state assessments, and I also work with the state standards in both counseling and the family and consumer science area. And in both of my fields, I've also worked with career and tech ed with the CTE funding. And I would work closely when I was in the classroom, I would ensure that those outcomes were being met. And then as a counselor, it's a little bit different capacity, but I still work with our CTE funding. And in our building, we have a automotive program through our local college, Garden City Community College. And so that's part of our career and tech ed funding also. As far as the federal level, that is somewhat limited, but I definitely work with FERPA rights, especially as a counselor. I've been involved with our budget committees, especially when the ESSERS money was available and we had to present information to the board and get grants and funding for our ESSER money. And then, of course, and this is going to show my age, but when the No Child Left Behind, I was working with that on the federal level and ensuring that our building in our district was following everything and meeting those needs. So let's look at what do I think is the correlation here. This submission has really helped me understand the program learning outcome number 6, operations and management. It really showed me how a large district like USD 457 operates with a lot of moving parts and people, but our district needs all of that to provide the best educational system possible within those financial limitations, and that these operations listed below are what I feel like is important in order. This was kind of a hard decision here because they're all very important. I really feel like in our size of district anyway, management is one of the most important, because with so many different operations and levels, we have to have management so that everybody knows what their role is. After that, I believe communication is key, because with so many moving parts, you have to communicate or nothing is going to get accomplished, and it will not be a smooth, seamless education experience for our students. And then I feel like our operation systems comes next. Like I said, we have a large organizational chart in our operation systems, but within each one of those, they have their specific goals and their requirements. And then I really don't want to put technology as number 4, because I feel like it really encompasses all of those, because without technology, um, it's really hard to operate in today's society. So that is the order that I put my operations in. This module has helped me understand the 3 levels of government on a more holistic level. Like I said, working in a large district, it's kind of easy to get wrapped up in our local policies and regulations. And when you're in a building where there's 18 other buildings and 7,000 some students, you kind of feel like maybe you need more support. But really, after I started looking at all this and looking at all the resources and looking at the 3 levels in more depth, I realized that really each separate level does apply to my school, and that's really what helps us create an environment where all of our students can continue to learn and improve. And without those 3, we would have a broken system. So it really was very relevant after I started looking at that more in detail. As I started to reflect, looking forward, I understand how much of the requirements our district asks of staff is just one piece of the whole puzzle, and that together it makes it be successful. As a future building leader, I do hope I can remember these 2 things as I start making decisions, because as a counselor, I get a lot of staff come to me with concerns or questions, and so as a leader, I really want to make sure that number 1, which is also a goal of our district, am I making the decision in the best interest of the student? And then number 2, if I make that decision, can I support my staff after making the decision? And so if I can't answer yes to both of those, then I need to rethink possibly if that decision is what we want to make. So here are my references and the rest of them. I want to thank you for listening, and I look forward to meeting all of you as we start this journey together. Thank you.